Yo, come on. Finally, I'm saying this. Finally, with a smile on my face. Man United 1, Burnley 0. Minna, talk to me on this game. How do you feel about it?
I'm happy, man. I know I don't look it, but
You
I
look
am happy.
pissed off.
I'm happy. I don't look it, but I don't. I'm happy. I'm happy in it. That's all that matters. 3 points, clean sheet. Okay performance. Nothing really to brag about, but it's a good time to start picking up momentum.
Yeah, so talk to me about some of these positives you saw in the team and any performances that really stood out for you today. If there's any, give me the. Do you want to go negatives first and then give into the positives? How do you want to do this?
I don't really say it's negatives. It's more so things like to reflect on, innit?
Okay.
First and foremost, positives. Johnny Evans, shout out to you.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my Johnny.
Yeah.
And all of that.
You almost got a Johnny Evans shirt.
I know. Guys, if you lot were watching the stream, I said at the beginning of the game, if Johnny Evans scores, I will buy a shirt of his tomorrow. Thank God, because I don't wear a Johnny Evans shirt. But shout out to him in it, because number one, it's not easy to come in when you're called upon. We've seen many times players be called upon and not be able to perform, but the fact that he was able to do it today, albeit against a team that's just come up, newly promoted, struggling to even find their footing in the Premier League, but it's still not an easy task at the end of the day, number one. Number two, disallowed goal, minor. That pass that he played to Bruno, inch perfect, he took 2 touches, looked up, scanned his, whereabouts, and played that ball over, inch perfect. And it's a great finish from Bruno Fernandes, obviously. I think there's small things we can take away as positives.
Yeah.
I think Hannibal Mejbri had a good performance.
Talk to me about Hannibal today.
You know what? When I watched him, if you lot watched the loan view last year, you know that I watched him a lot at Birmingham City. And I really felt out of all the loanees, I thought him, Amad Diallo, 2 people that could actually get into the first team. And it was nice to see him not only get an opportunity to play, but actually make impact. He was breaking down a lot of, Burnley's attacks. He was getting forward, always putting a foot in, always getting stuck in. Some players be shying away from that, and he was always putting a foot in and really putting his body on the line. And I respect that. Young kid, got a lot to learn, and he's learning on the job, so that's nothing is better than that. Full 90 minutes as well, in a 3 points and a win. I think he'll definitely be happy.
In a struggling side, in a
midfield that, for so long today, I don't know if you don't realise, but we were bypassing our midfield to go forward because that was the best option, because we just couldn't break Burnley down. There was no technical ability in that midfield. Scott McTominay was just an additional body, a physical body there. Literally. I understand why Erik ten Hag played him, but it's kind of one of them ones like, why are you doing that? But it is what it is. Casemiro grew very quietly into the game. By the second half, he moved me. He was moving me. By the second half, breaking down.
And we haven't seen that because people were saying that Casemiro is going. We don't know if it's the same Casemiro that we bought.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've said it too. I've said it too, that he ain't looked the same as last season. And it was nice to see him just grow into the game. I think Rashford and Højlund are going to have to understand each other. And, that could come with time. There was some frustrating moments from quite a few players. For me, my biggest concern, I'm not going to lie, is Reguilon going off injured. Lisandro Martinez obviously not being part of the team. The squad is running thin, injury-wise. We're not looking that great. But Ten Hag is working with what he has, and if we can pick up momentum now, like I said it's going to get worse before it gets better. I'm hoping that we've passed the worst parts, and now this is the points that it's going to start to get better. If we can pick up momentum in the next 2-3 Premier League games, then hopefully it'll be positive. But one thing I will say is any other team, like a top half team, would have punished us today.
Yeah.
Burnley just didn't do that. Next week, Saturday, is different. We're coming up against Crystal Palace. They got Eze, they got Elise, they got Ayew, they got Eduardo, that guy, that striker. They've got some talent that can finish in front of goal. We need to be more compact defensively, but it's also one of them ones where none of these guys, like half of these people are not part of our starting 11. Yeah. So can we sympathise with the manager? One thing I do say is, though, today, seeing the way that McTominay played and the fact that he lasted that long, I didn't get that. Ten Hag waited. He was forced to make the change with Varane. And then he was forced to make the change with Johnny Evans, because I think Johnny Evans...
I honestly think it's about trust. I think he's made a decision. You lot are the ones I trust in a dogfight. You guys are going to get me through. There's so many leaks, this week.
I know, the leaks aside, one thing I would say is Ten Hag hasn't had it easy dealing with stuff like off the pitch. And, you'd rather it translate positively on the pitch, because then people stop talking. But it's one of them situations where that hasn't happened. So people have been talking about performances on the pitch and, issues off the pitch. And that's just unlucky. But the professional way to deal with it, I would assume, is to just block it all out and let your performance talk on the pitch. What better way to silence people than to actually go out and win games? Today, people might walk away from this game and be like, you know what, 3 points away, Turf Moor, it's not easy. But we got the job done in a team that's literally like our third or fourth string of players in some of those positions. They're not even our second, third choice, some of them. They are literally third, fourth, fifth choice options.
It's getting crazy. We use 23 players, the most used in the Premier League. There's one more team above us that's used more players. I can't remember who it is.
But a lot of teams have used 23 players. The difference is the quality in those 23 players. Now, don't get me wrong. I genuinely feel like the injuries has kind of messed us up. But I would rather, if we had 11 Johnny Evans, guys, I'm not joking. If we had 11 Johnny Evans, when called upon, they perform like that today, I'd be okay with it. But the problem is that we've had injuries.
You mean in terms of not quality?
Not quality, as in coming out and just giving 100%. Yeah. But there's been so many times where we've had people come in and just put in a poor performance, and they've been able to get away with it in the past. Now, obviously, the cracks are showing. If you can, I know this sounds stupid to say, but sometimes heart wins a battle. And in a situation like this today, with Johnny Evans in particular, he's not the first, second, third, fourth option. He's the fifth option centre back, even maybe sixth. I'd go even far to say maybe even sixth. And he said, you know what, I'm going to block the haters out, i.e. Minna and all the other people. I'm going to block them out. I'm going to give a good performance. He put his heart on the line. There was a chance, 80-something minute, when he went flying into a tackle with Jay Rodriguez. I have to respect that.
Talk to me about the Højlund and Rashford connection as well. We're seeing them trying to find a relationship. Still don't really understand each other's game at the moment, you can see from them.
Yeah, and I think it will take some time. It's only been a couple of weeks. They've been playing together, training together, etc. There was instances today where Rashford would try look for the pass when he should not. And then there's times when he would try to look for the shot when he should try to look for Højlund and try to find that pass. I think over time, the more they play together, they'll build that connection in it. I'm not really too concerned about it, in all honesty. I think Højlund was causing decent amount of problems physically.
His first 90 minutes of Man United.
First 90 minutes, that's a positive sign, right? This is a guy that we brought injured. So if we could get 90 minutes out of him today, who's to say that, that can't be done on a regular basis? And I think, shout out to Bruno Fernandes in it, because that goal was a great finish. He took it very well. Again, not someone that's not been performing too great over the last couple of weeks, and people have been criticising him. Listen,
fairly. 3
points, clean sheet, finally a win. I was worried it was going to be four.
Man in the match.
Johnny Evans, man.
Johnny Evans.
I have to give him. I have to give him his respect, man.
And then we got Crystal Palace, and we got another Champions League game. Are we going to win both games?
We got Palace, and then we got Champions League next week. We got Palace back to back. Carabao Cup.
There you go.
You know what? We just have to be 100%. We just have to believe.
Peace. Thank you so much.